all five regions of ICI, Mukesh Solanki ji. Connectees and Jain Chartered Accountant Federation members and others who are on this webinar. Friends, today we will talk on the growth of profession through consolidation and how we unlock synergy and the humongous work that Jain Chartered Accountant Federation is about to launch in this country. Friends, if you really see today, as it was mentioned by previous speakers, that there are challenges, and there are challenges to any profession at all the time. I'll start with the challenges for a few minutes, and we have two types of challenges. One is we have long-term challenges in our profession, and then there are temporary or short-term challenges. Now, coming to very long-term challenges, one of the challenge which all of us face, whether we are a proprietor, two-partner firms, small firms, large firms, medium-sized firms, one, all of you will agree, is a long-term challenge is competition and undercutting in our profession. One is, of course, in this we do traditional. Most of us are in traditional areas. I would say that out of 1,40,000 chartered accountant, almost 1 lakh plus are in traditional areas. And these areas where we do audit, where we do accounting, where we do tax, income tax, we do indirect tax, we face this competition, undercutting. Undercutting is from new chartered accountants towards old firms. Then undercutting is between the firms. Undercutting is from larger firms to smaller firms. This is one competition which is killing most of us in the long run, and we are unable to earn well. Do you feel that it is only in the traditional areas? No. The larger firm work in niche areas. In various niche areas, we are already aware, but in that also, I can give you an example of a niche area competition. One of the very large firms in this country was asked to quote for a transfer pricing. The company had transfer pricing to be done for 10 countries where they were dealing with their own concerns outside India. For that, they quoted 1 crore. Immediately, the auditor firm, another big firm, said that we are auditors, we already know you well, we will quote 25 lakhs. Now, this is the kind of competition and undercutting. If it happens, the profession is in real trouble. Now, coming to the other problems that, there is an argument. There is an argument by some of the firms that we will even quote below cost because we need some experience on our CV. And unless, suppose I am doing a forensic audit, I need experience of forensic audit, I will quote even below cost and get that experience. And therefore, there will be further competition and undercutting from such firms who have this kind of thinking. This is, what is happening in undercutting and competition for our firms is that it is shifting the work from smaller firm to bigger firms. My client who was with me and in the rotation, he went to very, very large firm in this country at the same price which I was charging him for all the services I gave. He said, I was a fool to be with you for so many years. If the largest firm in this country is available for the same price, I should have obtained their services. This is the way his son spoke to us when the client, his father was with us for 15 years. Now, with this kind of attitude of the larger firms that they take the work at the same price with a smaller firm can afford to take, this undercutting and competition is very, very serious. Friends, there are other challenges as well. Second challenge is regulatory requirement. Internal audit and concurrent audit of banks and others have been given to cost accountant. In fact, cost accountant has been a competition to us over the years in various ways. Company law work has mostly gone to company secretaries. When I was very young, we were doing all company law work in the past. We are today not doing. Almost after everything became online, every work, what I was doing, I'm a company secretary also, I'm a chartered secretary. We do company law work also. But I find that most of the CA firms have just left it to chartered secretaries and they are not doing the company law work. Bar Council is completely after us that tax work should not be done by CA, especially tax appellate work. And that is still pending with various high courts and Supreme Court. Another challenges we are facing is on technological development. Every return and payment is becoming online. Even all communication is becoming on email and WhatsApp. And WhatsApp, there is no trail of the files that are received. There are expectations of the client is increasing, and I must revert in 24 hours. Anything in US, client says in US it is 2 hours. If I don't revert back in 2 hours, it is a problem for them. They say 24 hours we give to India also. If you don't revert, then you are not the right kind of consultant. This is the new era. All accounting packages have gone on ERP mode, and we need remote desktop. We need a lot of technology to fight with. I will also say that these are long-term challenges, many more, but I'll quote some of the challenges which are short-term, which are in COVID era. One challenge which has come is to run the office itself by smaller firms. There is a serious liquidity crisis. The chartered accountants are putting their own money to see that we run. There is no billing. There is no billable work being done. And I don't know how much time it will go. Every time there is an extension, we are happy, and we are sad also that there will be billing has been further delayed. And therefore, it is a serious problem. We also have a remote audit challenge, which was mentioned. And remote audit is a challenge. It's not an opportunity. It's a challenge right now. It's a big opportunity later on. But I feel that it's going to be a serious issue. So with all these and many issues which other speakers will tell you, what is the solution? For every problem you state, you cannot state a problem. I always feel that a person who states a problem must give solutions. He cannot just escape by putting the solutions on others. So therefore, I say that the solution is, in this case, is small becomes big and big should become bigger is the only way that we can survive in the coming years. This is the only message that the whole webinar will give you today. When we did the merger, the institute, my firm did a merger. We were a two-partner firm for 22 years. And when we did a merger in 2002 December, effective from 1/4/2003, some of our senior partners who were there, they asked us, what is your... Hello, can everybody be in mute, please? Yeah. So my senior partners who initiated this merger asked me and asked all others, what is your vision for next 5 years and 10 years? Where you want to be in next 5 years and where you want to be in next 10 years? Hardly anyone had any answer. Then he said, while closing this, that I assure you that your 31/3/2003 return, you will forget in next 5 years. You will forget what was your income and what taxes you paid. Really, in 2020, I'm telling you, I don't know what taxes I paid and what income I had in 2002, 2003. And probably my today's taxes are more than the income, or many more times the income I earned probably that time. And this is the synergy, and this is the merger effect that I can tell you that we achieved even before the institute started talking about merger 2004, 2005, 2006, and we did it before that. So one thing I like to tell you before I go further, that we were small, we were two-partner firm. So I will say, looking at today's where we are, the great future does not require great past. If great future does not require great past, then what Jain Chartered Accountant Federation is doing is a commendable job for all of us. And therefore, we should see whether we have a great future there. If you can think, then the whole life will change. Now, coming to, I told you that everyone must think of becoming bigger, becoming larger. Then we are thinking of mergers. When we are thinking of merger of various CA firms, CA proprietors, and becoming larger and larger and larger, to have the competition on equal footing, what I'm trying to achieve through merger. The purposes of merger are many, and then many of the speakers will explain to you. First purpose is to create merger. Purpose is to create value more than the merge business. So 1 + 1 will not be 2. It will be much more than 2, maybe up to 11. Coming to the second purpose, it is to face competition. I will provide a one-stop shop to all my clients. Everything will be done in this firm. Client will not have to go to one chartered accountant for GST, one for income tax, one for appellate, one for audit, one for any type of consultancy in FEMA, whatever, nowhere he has to go. And I give my experience to you that this one-stop shop concept, where I was shuddering to give a 50,000 rupees quote to my client today I can give 5 lakhs rupees quote without a wink of an eye and say, if you are not paying, please, you can choose another chartered accountant. I can face competition very confidently because I'm capable of delivering. Friends, next purpose of merger is to grow faster. I can expand in related and unrelated fields and offer multi-locational services only if I merge with various firms. Another purpose can be to achieve efficiencies of scale. One is in efficiency of scale, I'll say there is a duplication of effort by all of us. Same thing all of us are doing repeatedly to find out the same answers. Secondly, we have duplication of expenditures. We all spend for the same tune, same printer, same this thing, all of us doing the same thing, duplicating expenditure which is not required, duplicating assets which are not required. We have no availability of article trainees in the smaller firms. If we grow, we will get a good, articles are really good. They're really good and they're really great if you can teach them well and use them. But they are available only to larger firms if we merge. Another purpose of merger will be streamlining operations. We can afford more staff. We can afford knowledge manager. I could never afford a knowledge manager with a two-partner firm. You can have lot of computerization, lot of huge space. Another purpose of merger can be you have to find out why you are merging, what purpose is, what is to be served. One, whether I want more work for which I am merging with other firm. I am capable but I don't have work. Okay, I may have work but I don't have capital. I need little money to invest, whether I can get a partner who can do that, or whether I need physical assets. My office is just 300 square foot, 500 square foot. I need 5,000 square foot. Whether somebody has a physical asset but no work, and whether I can join him. Then I can also, I may have work, I may have physical asset, I may have capital also, but I don't have workforce. The workforce which is required to execute, I don't have, so I'm losing good clients. So you have to find out why merger, and accordingly we have to decide as to how we go about it. Now, coming to the next part of my deliberation, I would like to say that after merger we can meet many practice challenges. Practice management challenges can be met only through the merger.
विद्यार्थियों
One
को
of the
पीएचडी
things,
करवा है और खुद के ऊपर 3 विद्यार्थी
first is of course client management. I can do much better client management. All these years I have thought that I need to educate my client on several things. For example, the owners need to be educated on various aspects of finance, taxes, profit versus cash flow. They don't understand the difference between two. Short-term funds they use for long-term. They divert funds. They don't know working capital management. They don't know what is 222E and how it creates huge issues in inter-transfer between related parties. And all that education I cannot give as small person. Only larger firms have the ability to educate client staff and clients, owners. Client relationship is a big issue. Is a big issue in small firms. You can't be constantly in touch. I remember that many of the clients come to us only once a year, or maybe maximum twice a year. We are not in touch. We don't upgrade ourselves to the requirement of the client, and suddenly the client leaves and we know we are incapable of serving that client. I don't have a relation. I can't convince the client on quality of deliverables because I really don't bother about it. I don't do timely billing. I don't do collections. All this is possible if I am a larger firm. As far as the time management is concerned, on time management front, I don't have time for professional update. Everything is done in smaller firms. You know what is a large firm in this country? A large firm having 10 partners, 12 partners, 15 partners. I was tell you an experience that we met Secretary of MCA on an airport a few years back in Mumbai airport. And he said, what capacity building you are talking about in this country? You are talking of 10 partner firm, 12 partner firm, 15 partner firm. But if I walk into your office, only one person is doing service tax, only one person is doing VAT, only one person is in bank audit, only one person is in other audits, one person in C&E audit, only one person in income tax, only one person in appellate. You tell me, if I walk into so-called large firms, I will have 25 people in transfer pricing, 30 people in VAT, 50 people in another. So where is the expertise? Finally, you are dependent on one person. Now, This is the situation in large firms also. Where is the update? Professional update is only in your own area. Otherwise, you have no professional update. And if you are a generalist, you have zero professional update. In merger, I can think of professional update. I can buy softwares for update. I can instruct my staff for quality updation. I can also have time for practice development. I must set target. I have never, as a small man, I never set target for increase in my professional receipt, or I have never thought of employing staff with good professional skills. This is possible only if I merge, only if I become large, and only if I have that vision. Coming to the other part of staff management, I can have a in-house training. I can have the supervision. Friend, SQC1, I just, when we are in AASB auditing assurance standard, SQC1 is compulsory. How many firms, even large firms, so-called large firms of this country are able to find SQC1 as right? SQC1 tells us that supervision is necessary. You should brief about the work. You should report on the progress of the work. There has to be interim period discussions. There has to be identification of time overrun. There has to be finding of requirement of client intervention, etc. Where is that? Where is that? Unless my firm is large enough where I have sufficient number of people to guide and there is a hierarchy, it is not possible. Therefore, mergers into larger firm is inevitable if you are really going by international standards. Friends, we talk of delegation. Many times I remember, I think how I delegate and where I delegate. I mean, there is nobody to delegate. If it is a smaller firm, in larger firms, there is a big hierarchy and we can do that. Even recruitment can be done of staff at a proper level, training can be done, supervision can be done, delegation can be done. We can have knowledge management. We can have cash management. Cash management is one of the things the smaller firms are, leaving everything and saying that salary is in Naya, where is the money? Now, cash management, space management, communication management, everything is possible only through this kind of mergers. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult or almost impossible for all of us. Now we can think of practice development strategies. And when we talk of practice development strategies, larger firms or merged firms are in far better place to do this for all of us. We can have regular meetings with client. I always wanted to do that. We want to do presentations for new development, have notes or articles published, or arrange seminar for client staff, or build personal relation. It is not possible in a smaller firm. In a larger firm has dedicated staff, dedicated people to do that who have those abilities. And regular meeting with client will give me more work. Regular meeting with client will give me a sufficient confidence to him that I can execute. Now I can all add value to the client. Always it is said, if company audit, private limited company audit is removed in this country, or tax audit is made up to 100 crore, no tax audit or something like that, how many clients will come to us? Zero in small firms. Am I adding value to my client? If I don't add value to my client, it is impossible that client will remain with me. Value add is possible only if I have experts with me, and that value add client will pay for it. But he wants value add, and that is possible only in the larger merged firms area. We can have increased productivity through use of technology and proper staff training, which is not possible in smaller firms. We can improve our profitability in many ways. All of us need to earn, and need to earn ethically. Jain Federation is never saying you don't earn very well, but earn ethically. When we think of earning ethically, we must improve profitability. When we are large enough, when we are expert enough, I can increase fee level of the existing client. I can charge premium for specialization. I can have immediate billing and immediate recovery because I command premium. I can increase the billable time of the staff through timesheet mechanism. Timesheet mechanism is used by only large firms, merged firms, and not smaller firms. Therefore, I don't know what I'm actually billing and what time I spend. I can have rationalization of cost of space, equipment, staff, and other costs through this. Friends, one thing I must tell you, whether you have ever thought of charging anyone in advance, I have never thought in the past until I become large. Demanding advance for work for new clients, long duration job, work requiring payment to government, or in non-traditional areas such as project funding, management consultancy, joint venture, transfer pricing, valuation is possible only if you are large enough to command that. And I think this is where it will really, really help you to get all that what you want in life. At the end, I will like to caution you. I like to caution you that there are challenges in merger. It is not that everything looks fine and good. And I don't think there is alternative to merger. There is alternative to becoming big. I must become big to earn well and to join big to be with them. So if I can't face the competition, I should join the competition. This is the way. What are the challenges in this? I'll quickly list out some of the challenges to mergers, and you should be very aware when you go in merger that you are not facing this, or you are able to avoid these challenges. One is loss of brand. I may have a very long firm which my father started that, and that brand is lost when I merge. Loss of autonomy. I was a king. I was saying everything, whatever I say, sir, 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 whatever you say will be done. No, in merge firm, I will have to listen to others. Heavy accountability on what? Accountability relating to performance. I must perform equal to my partners. I have heavy accountability on quality that I deliver. I have heavy accountability on attendance. When I was alone, I could have gone at 12 o'clock and left at 4. Today, I don't have. When in the larger firm, your accountability for attendance, your accountability for behavior. Your behavior has to be in sync with the whole organization. Another issue in merger and which creates, stops merger is name. Somebody asked me in my firm CVK, where is CVK doesn't have Srinivas Joshi. Where is your name? I said, what ABC means to you should mean to you in CVK. I know what is CVK, but let there be no name. I'm not worried on name. I'm worried on my progress, my future, and that is coming. Then name is not important. People will know me by my name in future, but I don't want the name in the firm necessarily. Sharing formula, friends, is another area where people falter when they go for merger. There are many ways you can share. You can share revenue, top line. You can share expenses without sharing top line. You can have incentive given for new work that is introduced in the firm by any partner. There are several ways, formulas of sharing, which you would know as you go into various mergers. One thing I'll tell you at the end, that if you are merging, never agree to agree later on anything. Suppose you want additional funding to be done for capital assets, see who will be doing and what rate of interest you will get on that. Don't agree to वो बाद में देखेंगे क्या है वो merger तो होने दो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. That is not. So with all that, I think before close, I'll just thank Virag, our great friend, to be with us and inviting me here, and Jain CA Federation and big Indian CA firms for that. Now coming to the end, I will say that people who change after change will survive. This is COVID. People who change after change will survive in COVID. People who change with change will succeed. This is the merger we are talking about. And people who cause the change will lead. There are 5 regions, and I hand over. Thank you, friends. Thank you for patiently listening.